Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet, and this is the Highland Scotties Sports Talk here today, as we're taking a quick pretty good review here of week 2 of the Scotties football team here, as they were on the road playing against number 16 Georgia. And we won that game, of course. If you guys seen the video, there'll be a link in the eye up there that you guys can see the full, not the full game, but the highlights of the game there in the previous episode of the Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty. So, went to Georgia, and it was going to be a game that was not going to be on good terms here, as both of these squads met last year in a very epic game. Where Highland was able to get out of there barely alive, winning by 1 point. And this year we return as the number 5 ranked team. Now last year, remember, was not ranked when we came into this game against Georgia. I believe Georgia was ranked like they are this year, as they're ranked number 16. I should take a look at some of the highlights here if you're watching the podcast version of this. If you're just listening to radio, well, you don't get to see it, but yeah, Highland did a great job there. Had a little bit of a rough start in the victory against them this week, which you'll see the reason why it happened. But it was supposed to be, at least talking to Coach Teddy Bonds there, he said it was going to be another very close and tight game, and it was for the first I would say the first quarter, maybe going to the second quarter. But there you see the interception. If you're watching the podcast, Wilson was able to get the interception, and they had a hard time taking him down there. As you see, he runs that one back for a pick 6, and Georgia Bulldogs get the first blood of the game as they put 6 points on the board, and they have a 7-point lead. So Highland comes back on the next drive here. We'll see them somewhat midfield. As see Case on here, a bit of a rough go for him, as he had about I think the most yards he got there for the first quarter was probably 2 to 3 yards at a time. Defense there for Georgia was really good. They were keeping an eye there on Flanagan. And the same thing can be said for the defense for the Skies there, as they take a look here at the drive here for Georgia. Georgia had a tough time there. This play right here, Godwin got away there, and Barrow was able to take him down there. But they were in field goal position there, or I should say in the red zone there, and they could strike here. And that's what Georgia's really good at, throwing the deep ball there. There was a lot of good coverage, or bad coverage there for us, but a good just dropping back, throwing deep, and just throwing lobs up. And one of the things we had to do was we had to play a lot of zone defense there. I thought man-to-man work will help us out there, but not the case this year, as they got some pretty speedy guys there, not just in the receiving core they have, but Swift there. DeAndre Swift, he had a pretty good day there in the air also. On the ground, not as excellent as the air game there with him, but he did have some moments there where he had some good breakaways there, getting away from the defense. So we had to play a lot of zone, and I think even Coach Teddy Bond said he put some zone blitz packages in there just to try to see if they can flush the Eastman out of the pocket. But you see, we're down by 10, and Highland's going to go back on the field here for the third time now in this game in the first quarter here, and giving the ball there to Kason. Kason just was a beast there. He was actually he had some pretty good hands there in the backfield today, or in that game there, catching the ball, and that was really nice to see that open up. There you see Little makes a nice catch there for an 18-yard reception for the first down. But yeah, talking to Coach Teddy Bonds there, he said that he knew this game was going to be a close game. He knew that just like last year, if it's anything like last year, he says that it was going to be it's going to come down to whoever had better ball protection, and not to mention better was able to control the ball, whoever had last possession. So it really came down to that in a lot of ways there. Or at least that's what he assumed for this game. We'll see there. Hunter Cannon gets into the end zone, his first of the day here. And of course, if you watch the highlights of that game, you know that, well, we're going to have some bad news coming up here for the ones that did not see the episode. You guys got to check it out. There you see another a nice pick there, first of the day for Highland, as they were able to pick off that one and get a turnover there as Jacob Eastman. There, he was kind of shaky. He wasn't like he was a year ago there, throwing, zipping plays every once, all around like he was last year. Even though they did have a good passing game, really kind of were down there towards the end. You'll see here as he throw a couple more picks in this game. But for the most part here, I think Highland did a great job there. You see Grady Little going up the middle there, getting a touchdown, and getting the Scotties back on the board here once again, now with a 4-point lead. But yeah, Coach Teddy Bond's very impressed, very happy to see his team be able to be, having 3 possessions there in that first quarter and only be able to, scrape up a touchdown before the half there, or before the quarter ended there. They did a great job, and they were able to get themselves together, and they really rallied, especially with the injury that we're about to see here. Some point here, we'll see it here from Hunter Cannon. He ended up having a bruised tailbone, and that right there, that was kind of the wake-up moment. As you see, Swift gets in there. Look at him, just beast mode there, getting that 26-yard run there and getting into the into the end zone there. But yeah, it was a tough game here. Flanagan, if you remember, last year did not play much in that game, where he was I want to say it was before the half. I want to say it was, maybe he played the first quarter, but then sometime in the second quarter he was taken out because of injury. And he was, we mentioned in the pre-show, or the previous episode of Scotties Sports Talk, that he's wanting to play in this game. He's wanting to see see what he can do against this defense here. As you see there, yeah, that's going to be a pick right there, second in the game on that one. Or actually, I think it was a fumble recovery there for Georgia. As we'll see here, Georgia gets possession in this one at 4 minutes left in the second quarter. But yeah, for the most part there, Alex said, last year he didn't get played in the game. He was taken out. He was very happy that Rush was able to go in there and take over the game and just have a great game against the Bulldogs there. But he said he wants to get in there and show, get on them on what they did to him last year, and try to get in a better position, and just try to play against a powerhouse like this team, like a SEC team like Georgia. He wants to show that his team is just as good or on the same level as them. You see there, nice catch there from Hunter Cannon. And Cannon there, yeah, I think this is the play there that he got hit hard, and he is we were constantly just trying to find out if he was going to be all right, and we find out later on that he had a broken tailbone, and he's going to be out for a while. We'll talk about that here in just a bit, but we'll continue with the highlights here. Like I said, Highland just did a great job there. Really, I think at this moment, there was a moment there on the sideline, at least talking to the coaches there, and some of the players there. It was kind of like, oh my goodness, like, what do we do? We don't have our, release valve. We don't have the energy of the team, because I've been to several of these, or at least for this first, last year, or our first year in the FBS, but been to the practices there, and you see there Tolbert there stepping up there and getting interception. Yeah, this team is really Hunter Cannon is one of those. It's just you want to be around him. He's just such a great kid, great attitude, and just does a great job of just keeping his team. When his team is not doing so well, especially like last year after the national championship game, he was one of the ones that just kept telling guys, hey guys, keep our head up. Hey, we did a lot of things last year. We did, we did all this stuff. No one believed that we could get to the national championship, and we played against, Alabama, and we lost, but we stuck in there, and we basically punched him in the mouth. And I mean, he was just such a motivator in a lot of games last year. It's sad to see a guy like that. Just a great, smart kid. Last time I think I heard someone say that he's on the dean's list right now for academic performance there in the classroom. So he's doing great in the classroom, and he's just well liked on campus. I went to right before early going to this leading up to this game this past week on campus. They had a lot of intramural stuff going on, and Coach K. Bonds was kind of like, I don't kind of want you guys in those kind of events because I don't want you guys to get hurt or anything. But at the same time, he wants them to enjoy being a college student and enjoy what it is to be a college athlete, or a college student and just a student athlete on there. So they're kind of restrict on some things. But yeah, Hunter, him and his buddies were there. They had an intramural. I think it was there you see 7 weeks. Yeah, broken tailbone there for him. The junior red shirt there from Grand Island, Nebraska. Just the intramural. I believe it was shuffleboard or something like that. I can't really remember. But it was just, he's just a lightning rod. People just love being around him. He's just such a great guy, excellent student, and just a great football player. And this team's very lucky to have him. Alex said, I know after this game, he said that it was just kind of weird not seeing Hunter there. But he's glad that, the next man's stepping up, and that is Tolbert. We got two Tolberts on the team. We got one on offense and one on defense. You'll see him, I think, in this play right here. Never mind, it's Blair that they got that catch. But Tolbert, the backup tight end there, really did a great job, guys. If you've seen that episode, he just really stepped up on a lot of plays. And we'll see here, right here, he just great catch right there. Kept his feet moving, and Marcel just doing a great job there of stepping up. And he had two touchdown passes in this game. And many times I've said, Coach Tavon says, no one's job is secured. Everyone is, can be having their job taken away from them if they their starting position at any time for any reason. It could be even simple as that he just wants to kind of shake things up and get things going. But at the same time, he knows that if something's gonna, if a player's red hot, he's gonna try to keep them in there until they cool down. But Tolbert just did a great job there, and Coach Teddy Mons is all about the next man up, and that's exactly what Tolbert did. He did a great job there. And of course, he will be starting as the starting tight end now for the next 6 weeks. So it's going to be a tough thing for him to try to kind of adjust. I mean, he is on the field. He does know. He's not completely. Doesn't know what's going on with the playbook and coaching. The schemes and all that kind of stuff, because he's on the field at the same time as. They kind of run a 2 tight end set there in some formations for Highland, but for the most part here, Tolbert, he says, as soon as Cannon gets back, it's his spot. I'm not gonna, he knows he's the guy. He's the man when it comes to that position, and he's gonna help out Cannon in any kind of way. And another thing too is, a lot of people are saying that Cannon could have been a guy that was a front runner for Heisman this year. I mean, he had some really great numbers last year, and looked like he could have been, trending that same way this year with a lot of things going on. with him on the field, with great catches there. He's had several games where he was over 150 yards receiving, and multitudes of catches, anywhere from 10. I think one game he almost had 20 catches in the game. So he's it's really upsetting not going to be able to see him on the field for a couple weeks. But the team knows that he's still there. He's going to be at the practices. He's going to be traveling with the team, and he's going to try to help them out in any kind of way. If it's just being a guy that's just going to motivate guys on the sideline, cheering them up, get them pumped up, get them going, get them motivated. Being a cheerleader there on the sideline, he's going to do what he can do about that. So, with that being said, I know when they came back, of course he had. They really didn't. He said it was really brutal getting on the bus and going back, heading back to Highland. He does, since then he's got a rubber donut that he sits on. He takes that with him to class and stuff. And of course, you got some guys are kind of heckling him and whatnot, but they know that he sacrificed his body. He did what he had to do to help us out, and that in a lot of ways, they know he's their bread and butter, and they were helping him in any kind of way, but at the same time give him a hard time. And then of course Connor went on to say, talking to him earlier this week, he said, hey, it is what it is. I can if I don't get heckled, then there's something wrong. So but the guys are lighthearted about it. They didn't give him wasn't being mean to him about it or anything like that. But he said he's been sitting back. He's got a couple excuses from a couple classes. So for the most part, he's been resting. A lot of the trainers I talked to the main trainer said that he just needs to kind of sit on the donut for a while, not try to he's excused from practice for a while until he can heal. They say at least be another 2 weeks for the bruising and the swelling kind of subsides and whatnot. But he will be on. I think he said that he's going to be on the cycles, the bicycles on the sidelines there, and he's gonna still kind of try to get his workouts in and stuff like that. But he said when he's not doing that, he is going to be in his dorm room playing some the new Madden just came out. Also the new Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man came out. He's been playing that. He's gotten pretty far. His roommate's kind of jealous of him about it. Told him not to say anything about the game and whatnot and so on and so forth. But there you see 42-17. And we'll get back to the game here in just a bit. But yeah, just he's it's a big hit for them, for Highland, with one of their big go-to guys there, and hoping that they'll be able to be in a better. Hopefully, they can get him back sooner than later, and they just got to keep rolling on. They'll get ready for Washington State here, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But going back to the game here, you've seen the final score there, 40-17. Highland just did a great job putting a shellacking on Georgia. So Georgia, there you see their numbers there. Total offense 193 compared to our 450. Passing was just excellent there for us. We only had one interception, but Georgia there, 3 interceptions. They got picked off 3 times. So not a great day there for the Bulldogs offense. Along with their penalties there, nobody really with penalties. But the total yards there, just monster. Over 635 total yards. Flying in 22 of 32, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns there with 1 at pick. Kason, 30 carries, 81 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns there. Like I said, a little bit of a little slow start there for him because we were getting maybe a yard or 2 at a time. But then stuff started kind of picking up. A lot of those two touchdowns were rushing touchdowns were within the red zone there, so that helped us out. There you see of course he had to pick up the yardage here today for us. 6 carries, or 6 receptions, I should say, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. Cannon, he did leave the game, 5 receptions, 81 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Tolbert there, 5 receptions, 75 yards, 2 passing touchdowns there for him. Take a look at your defensive numbers there. And like I said, defense did a great job there stepping up. There you see Cohen, Robinson, and Ashley all had a sack there, along with Ellis, and Montgomery. So you're like at 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 sacks, I think, at the most. And then the interceptions there. So just a great day there for us. We're really happy that we're able to, really stick it to them. I'm sure we'll see Georgia sometime again along the line there. We play them. This is our second year in a row playing them. So if we happen to play them next year, I'm pretty sure Coach Tavon is going to suggest that they have to come to our house. So we'll see if that'll be the case there. I know the scheduling for the teams will be. Coach Tavon said he already has an idea of the scheduling already, which is, I'm kind of just amazed because it's only week 2, and we usually don't know the scheduling until the off season. But he has a couple of teams in mind already for next year that he's wanting to play in the SEC, and just depends on scheduling, and then also too, not to mention if they're ranked or not. So of course those ranked opponents will have to play at their house for that first time around. But take a look at the numbers there for Georgia, and like I said, just a tough day, really tough day there for them. But Highland wins at 142-17. Take a look at your top 25 there. We're just gonna kind of scroll here in just a bit of those games there. A couple upsets, a couple shockers there in some aspects there. Colorado had a great day, 54-14 against UMass. And then Alabama, of course, on the board there, 45-17. They had a little bit of a scare there. They were showing some of the alerts. I wish I kind of pulled those up on that in that last episode there, because they were actually down, I think, by 7 or so, sometime around the second quarter, going to the half, and then just kind of blew it up after in the second half there. So a little bit of an upset, but Georgia, or I said Alabama, I should say, was able to turn it around. Take a look at the rest of those. A good game there. Auburn and Missouri, 35-38. Auburn takes the win. But yeah, just some pretty interesting games there. And we'll see how things go for week 3. And of course, week 3 we'll be going at home. We'll be at home for the game against Washington State. If you remember last year, Washington State, we played it in quadruple overtime, and we had won because the receiver dropped the ball in the end zone, and we were able to sneak away with the win. If not, we would have to go to a 5th overtime. And I mean, other than that, it was, that game was just brutal. Just put it that case. It was a brutal game, and we're able to get out of there with that win. And again, it was another game that they took out Flanagan. They hit him hard and good, and they made sure that if we had to win the game, we had to win the game with a backup taking us there. And that was Rush's deal. He did a great job there, stepping up and doing a great job of getting that win there, especially in overtime. So that is awesome to see that. And hopefully we won't have to be in that situation again here. Hopefully we'll have a same kind of outcome we had this week against Georgia. The same thing happened as we go against Washington State. But take a look here at the top 25. There have been some shifts in the top 25 here this week. Looks like Texas, they dropped down, or actually jumped up 4 spots from number 14 to 10. K-State also jumped up a spot from 10 to 9. Florida, they dropped from 9 to 14. And then a couple others, I believe. I don't think we have any. Okay, yeah, South Carolina and Colorado, the 2 new teams that are in the top 25. And we'll take a look at the others receiving votes here in just a bit. And there you see Iowa dropped out the top 25. They're at 13 last week, and LSU was at number 19 last week. So got a few dropping in and out, but that happens. Still, like I said, it's still early. A lot of teams can still turn things around, even with one loss. They can still turn it around here early in the season. Take a look at the players of the week, and we'll take a look. There you see your NCAA players of the week. Now your independents, and there you see two Notre Dame Fighting Irishmen there. You got a sophomore redshirt Nathan Jones. We had 4 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack and a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. And then there you see our guy right there, Hunter Cannon, like I mentioned earlier, out for 6 weeks for a broken tailbone. And like I said, he is going to be very, very much missed. But like the next man up, and Tolbert will be the next man there that will have to take care of the tight end position. And like I said, Hunter will be on the game's back home this week, so he'll be there on the sidelines there cheering on his teammates and trying to get his teammates motivated in any kind of way to play against this Georgia, or this Washington State Cougars football team. Those are your injuries for the one injury that we have right now. Hopefully no more, because recovering, having these, especially players like him, it's kind of weird not having him on the field there, and you're kind of wondering, like, okay, what do I do next? Because I know a lot of us on the sideline there watching that game, we're seeing this and like, oh boy, okay, well, what's going on with Cannon? Like, is he, how bad is it? And it's not as bad as we thought it was, but with a broken tailbone and that, I mean, regardless, that hurts. I mean, it just, no matter if you're related to sports injury or anything like that, it just hurts. I've had one myself before, and it's not a good feeling at all. You can't really do anything. You don't want to move. It's almost like just as bad as like get hit in the ribs. So you're constantly, you can't really sit on your butt. You gotta kind of like sit on your side, or sit on your stomach, or so yeah, it's not fun at all. But there you see his attributes there. Now another player that's got a broken tailbone himself, that is Jalen Thompson, the junior from Downey, California for Washington State. He will not be in the game there. So there's our safety, at least one safety there that we don't have to worry about on the field when it comes to Washington State. Now Washington State have some great players there on offense and defense, and of course that's something we're gonna have to really try to clamp down on their offense, because their offense is a very high powered, at least from last year, it was high power, high octane. They were able to move the ball as quickly as possible. There was quite a few times they used a lot of no huddle that just really did a disservice to us, and that was a really tough thing for us to deal with and try to shut them down. Now they've lost to K-State 48-14, and then lost to just Clemson this past week 38-24. So they are looking for a win. So getting a win off of us, especially a top 5 team, they want this one badly. Hercules Matafa. Hopefully if I butchered that, I apologize. But there you see his numbers, the defensive tackle there. Some pretty good agility there, good hit power there. So he's a guy that definitely, try to run the one up the gut there. We gotta try to really block him up well, so he does not get a hold of Kason or Flanagan if they happen to rush. And then your safeties is the backup safety, Hunter Dale, 5'10", 190-pound senior. You see his zone and man coverage pretty decent there for a safety, but definitely got pretty good speed there, and also some decent somewhat decent play recognition. But yeah, he is definitely a guy that we're going to try to make sure we can avoid and just keep a track of where he's at, throughout the game, so we can get the ball there if we want to go deep. And I feel like we can go deep here. Looking at some of the corners and safeties, they got a few from last year, but for the most part, I think we're going to try to see if we can go deep on them, if anything. But we'll have to see. I know Coach is talking about watching some game film, and that was something that they were going to try to get and or look at and really try to see exactly how they can approach this in the passing game. For right now, just short passes and then maybe out of the back, some screen passes there for now. But they feel like they can go deep, and they might take a couple shots there going deep. Keith Harrington, also Kyle Sweet, their wide receiver there. Great receiver, great, and then of course, great receiver, great hands. He is definitely going to be a threat there on offense. Harrington, there you see his numbers. Great acceleration, great agility, and then ball carrying not the greatest. We'll try to see if we can put some pressure on him to get him to fumble the ball or whatever. But yeah, for the most part here, I think the team is really pretty much satisfied of what they can try to accomplish with the standard. Of course, here you see Connor Neville, the redshirt freshman, 6'2", 199 pounds. Good arm there, 80 actually, power 85. So he has a good, strong arm. And I'm sure he can rifle that one down the field if they get wide open. But like I said, we're going to try to play. Zone coverage worked really well for us last week. We'll try to see how that goes with this game. And if I'm really trying to remember, I think last year with it, zone coverage worked for us the best. So we'll try that, and maybe even we'll try even some more blitz plays, because I know last year that was something that we just did not do so well against those guys. That we did not apply much pressure on them. So maybe, especially with this redshirt quarterback who did not play in last year's game, he's, I think this might be a good opportunity just to kind of test him and see how he is on there with some pressure, down his neck. So we'll see how that goes coming up in the next game coming up, which is against Washington State. So Washington State 0-2, they'll be coming into Kensington Field there, and you guys will see that game on Saturday. So thank you guys, or early, I don't know. I'm thinking about possibly having a couple episodes during the week here now, but just all depends. But if you guys see it early, probably early as Thursday, if not, be on Saturday. So just stay tuned to our Facebook and Twitter feeds there, and just check us out there for when the next episode's coming up. So that is it for this episode of the Highland Scotties Sports Talk, episode 20. That is it. We'll get to week 3 of NCAA here with the Highland Scotties coming up here on ESGNet. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty here on ESGNet. As always, keep yourselves really healthy, and I will see you guys next time.